Hey marksmen and markswomen, ToySniper reporting for duty. My next target is Marvel's Deadpool, aka Wade Wilson. This figure is part of the Marvel Legends Toys R Us exclusive 2-pack. Hasbro is bringing us an updated version of this figure later this year, and I think that is great that they decided to do so. It's been a while since we got this one out. DP's popularity has really soared over the past years, sparking a movie and animation appearances. With that being said, let's get a little bit into the scouting report. It reveals that, without going too far into DP's history, but he's a mercenary, hence Merc with the Mount references in the comics, and currently he's part of the Uncanny Avengers lineup. DP's most notable combat attributes include his healing factor, which has seemingly made him immortal, and his master assassination skills. DP usually carries a variety of weapons depending on the assignment, but mostly uses guns and his two swords for battle. He also has a teleportation device, which he may use from time to time. He's an incredibly awesome character that you should check out in some of his books. But let's say this, we are here to gauge the figure. Let's see if he's inspection ready for combat. Without further ado, let's get into the articulation. And for rating for articulation, we say that it's Garrison. It could have been better, but it's efficient. If you look at his head here, it can go up that far, which is pretty good. It can go side to side and around in a circle if you wanted it to. His arms are pretty good, and there's actually that shoulder joint in there. You can see it, where he can move it back a little bit, which is pretty good. Bicep swivel, bends at the elbows, double jointed. He rotates at the wrist, and it can go up and down with those things. He has a diaphragm crunch here. He can rotate at the waist here. He has these ball jointed hips, which are kind of hindered. If you see there, it kind of is hindered by the sculpting itself. And let me put this back on. And then he has double jointed knees, which is always good. And he can pivot up and down, and rotates around. I feel like he should have had a little bit more, so he didn't get the best rating. So they could have done better, and hopefully the new one will impress us. Next, we'll get into the sculpt. And as far as the sculpt goes, I would say there's nothing special. It looks decent, the head itself, but when you get into the rest of the body, it's just kind of generic, really. There's a few things they added, but it's mostly old sculpt. They sculpted this here really nicely, but that's not really what I get into. I get into the figure itself, and I consider that kind of an accessory. They did a really job with the accessories and actually sculpting those, but I don't consider that. So everything else kind of generic, all the way from the head down to the boots. Or the head and the boots are the only two things that seem to be new sculpts, which is alright. Now, as far as the accessories, he came with whatever he needed to be combat ready. He has it. So these swords come off, and you can see the holster here with the gun also comes out, and he actually comes with this piece over his chest, his harness, and with those pieces you actually get a really good figure. And let me put these back on so you can see it snaps right there and like that, and the other one snaps in as well. So accessories wise, they did a really good job of giving him some stuff that it seems like actually fits him. Now, as far as the paint deco and the paint used, they use a pretty good color paint. The decal, they didn't have to do much. They didn't have much to do. It is not really a wash or anything on it, just a little bit. You can tell little dark spots here and there, but pretty good job on the paint. There's nothing spectacular or over the top, but it does its job. I think it was portrayed and painted really well. As far as height, he's in a 1/12 scale, so he's about a little over 6 inches tall. So 6 1/4. So it's pretty accurate. I mean, it's a good looking figure. I recommend it if you can find it. It will be expensive, but when that next one come out, you might be able to pick one up cheap. So he is a good figure to have in your collection. As far as the size comparison to some other figures from Marvel Legends, as you can see, he fits right in. But next time we'll be reviewing another figure, and let me know what you think about the figure and what you like. Please subscribe and like.